Good morning, everyone. It is Josh P here, and welcome back to Raft. So we're just going to be basically doing a little bit of grinding and a little bit of catching up, as I've basically been gone for a good solid week now. And real quick, I'm just going to show you guys around. When I had some downtime, I was working on just grinding and expanding the base out a little bit here, so we have a huge platform to work on now. And I couldn't figure out a way to keep the shark over there from attacking my nets, which was my biggest concern. So I noticed that these will actually float right underneath the foundation and go right into the nets. So I just started by building a little cage basically around the nets to keep the shark out. So he'll attack one of these, take it off, and then just go on his merry way. And then I figured, why not do that for the entire base, because I might actually put pillars and walls and, I don't know, whatever else I can build out here on this edge. And I'm tired of him taking the valuable stuff, so the foundations don't care about. He can take those. Anyways, let's get right into it. So I did decide to change the name of the channel to the Super Bassy Gamer. And the reason for that is usually when I edit these, I'll have headphones in, and they've just been cheap headphones. All my nice headphones are Bluetooth, and I don't generally pair my Bluetooth to my computer, especially if I'm playing games. And I accidentally blew out my cheap headphones. Completely destroyed the paper cones in them, so they sound like crap now. So I kind of had to switch over to my Bluetooth headphones to actually be able to hear anything. So I thought, why not? Might as well change to that, since it actually kind of made me chuckle when I thought of the name anyways. So then this next thing, I kind of talked about it. I have family coming in, or I had family coming in. And it's actually my sister came into town, and she lives clear on the other side of the country. She lives out near Chicago. So it's rare that she does get to come by. So she was out here, we were catching up, which means a lot of people that I haven't seen in a while, mainly because I knew them through my sister. They were out here catching up with them, constantly doing stuff. I didn't even realize I was dropping stuff over the edge. Yeah, look at that. So it was a pretty busy week between everything that's been going on. But it was a lot of fun. Usually when she comes out here, the family will get together and we'll play like board games and have like barbecues. We have a ton of food left over from all the barbecues that we were having, which is never a bad thing. And usually when they come out here, I'll try and get a new game for us to play. And this time I got a game called Pandemic, which is actually a lot of fun. I need to stop picking stuff up and start offloading. It's actually a lot of fun. It's very challenging, but it forces everyone to play together, which is good, because occasionally we can get a little bit too competitive and our game nights can just evolve into a family fight, which hasn't been happening so much lately, but it is still never fun to walk out on the middle of the clue because someone's mad. So it was a fun game. It was cooperative. You're playing against 4 diseases that you're trying to cure before they take out the world. And on top of that, we played lawn darts for the first time. And I found out I'm not very good at lawn darts. That is what it is, but that was pretty much a huge chunk of what we were doing this weekend, was just spending time with the family, catching up with old friends that I haven't seen probably in about, one person I haven't seen in at least 5 years now, so that was kind of cool. And then, besides the family stuff, we've just been trying to work on a rather large project that we currently have going. Well, me and a couple other people are currently working on. That is still in the early stages, but it's forcing me to learn a lot of new stuff that quite frankly, I never really had an interest in. But since it's a new project and it's something we want to do, we obviously can't really hire people to do this for us. So we got to kind of learn to do some of the things for ourselves that we never really knew before. So, yeah, learning more stuff, which is never a bad thing. It is never bad to learn stuff, even if you aren't a huge fan of it. One of my instructors, he had his degree in statistics and engineering. It's actually a PhD in statistics, and he used to always tell us that you never want to or learn to hate something when you're learning it. Because inevitably, if you hate it and you have to learn how to do it, you'll become very good at it. And you'll end up having to do that a lot. And his example was he used to work at General Electronics, and he was a simulations expert because he did a lot of statistics. And he absolutely hated learning to do simulations when he was going to school. But oddly enough, he went into statistics and he ended up being the one guy that knew how to do all that. So never be afraid of new things. Then I think the next major development over this week was I actually have a couple of back issues, mainly a hernia that causes some problems with my legs. Nothing major, I can still walk, everything like that. It's just causes discomfort. And over this weekend I managed to re-injure myself, which again, not too bad, but the problem is it's a very low disc, or the hernia is. So it makes sitting down for long periods of times rather uncomfortable. So I'm going to have to try and find a way to elevate my desk a little bit, or just to get one of those simple like pads that I can use so I can turn this into a standing desk. So that way I can sit down at the desk for longer periods of time than like 20 minutes at a time and have to get up. But that's basically it. I'm going to try and get back on track, trying to do at least one video a day, 2 if I can find the time. We'll see how today goes. I have a lot of catching up that I have to worry about before I can focus on trying to get more videos pushed out. But I think in this upcoming week I'm going to be able to get back into somewhat of a routine. So that way I can get right back on track with this. I will go ahead and let you guys know that this is probably going to become a lot more intermittent. I might probably get 1 or 2 more episodes out of this, building the actual base, or it's probably going to be very cut up because it's very time consuming to go through this game sometimes. Because it's like any other crafting survival game that has kind of just a singular purpose. Is once you get to the later stages of the game, they increase the difficulty by just quite simply making it a grind to make it anywhere. So it looks like we're definitely pretty close to the end of this game as it is. We'll see what we can do with the base, but it's just going to be intermittent. It's not going to be a daily thing where we're going to see a new video on this. So there's probably going to be a new game, and I have a couple in mind that I'm going to try and push out. We'll see whatever works. Oh yeah, and we have, for whatever reason, a bunch of stuff is getting stuck on the horizon there. Like there's a net out there, so actually let's see if we can make it out there. Let's at least get something done today besides just talking a lot and falling in the water. And I'm going to need more rope. I think, yeah, I have plenty of stuff for rope. I need boards. Yeah, let's make it out there before we call this video. But I have a couple of different games in mind that I'm going to want to go ahead and give a look at. And a lot of my focus right now is primarily centered around small indie games. So don't get me wrong, I like AAA titles. I play World of Warcraft when I have a chance. I've been doing Grand Theft Auto, all that fun stuff. And this week, actually, one of my friends that I got together with, we sat down and we played the new Call of Duty. Well, I think it's the newest one, Infinite Warfare. And our old thing was we used to play zombies all the time back in original Kino der Toten. Like, you know, that's not the original zombies, but that was the original for us. And we sat down and we had one session that lasted 3 hours long, and we were playing with someone who is living out in Florida now, so by the time we all got offline, it was like almost 4 o'clock their time, and they had work the very next morning, so that was fun. So I do enjoy AAA titles. The problem I have with them, though, is usually, especially with like Call of Duty, you'll see a lot of it is not a huge change in mechanics. There's not a lot of new being brought on board to it. It's just a lot of, we found a platform that works, so let's keep going with it and figuring out how we can make it look different. So that's my problem with it. It's the same thing over and over, whereas they're not all like that. Battlefield has been doing a lot of changes, and if you guys paid attention to D23, they just talked about their new Battlefield for Star Wars, and they're actually going to be having a female character as the main protagonist, which I think is awesome. I'm actually legitimately excited to get that and play through the campaign of that, because I want to see how that works out. Yeah, I can pick up some of this stuff. So I'm not against AAA titles, but I want to focus on indie titles, because indie developers, they're kind of more free to just do whatever the hell they want with it. They don't have to worry about shareholders trying to force them to make the most profitable game ever. So you'll see a lot of these indie games that look gorgeous. I mean, this is an indie game, and while it's still not fleshed out and there's still some like texture remodeling that I think they could do, a lot of it is actually pretty decent looking. If you guys, I know I brought this up before, Subnautica, if you've ever played that game, that's indie development. It's in early access right now on Steam, and that is an absolutely gorgeous game. So we're going to try and bring some more indie titles into the mix. We might go for a AAA title here and there, but this is primarily going to be indie-centric. It's not going to be all crafting and survival like it has been, but just going to look at small games. But, yeah. So we've made it out there. It looks like we can pick that up and kind of get rid of some of these draw-in glitches. Although I'm curious if this is going to change the render point now that we're all the way out here, if we're going to see them all spawn in here. I haven't been paying attention to that. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and leave this episode here. We'll probably get another one going. Get this base built up a little bit more. Also, once we actually get it built up, this will be a great view. Cool. But anyways, I'm going to leave this video here. Thank you all so much for watching, and until we see each other again, goodbye.